Hello, Virgo. The arena is full. The lights are surgical. The roar of the crowd has reached the decibel where admiration curdles into appetite, where respect metastasizes into possession, where the simple act of being seen transforms into being hunted by 1,000 eyes that do not know how to look, only how to want. And in the exact center of that Colosseum, stripped of nothing but the illusion of privacy, stands the one they all desire. The trophy, the icon, the face that launches 1,000 applications, 1,000 direct messages, 1,000 carefully calculated approaches designed to crack what the world believes is the most fortified heart on the market. They have been offered everything. Marriage proposals from names that matter, devotion from souls that are beautiful, access to empires, to networks, to beds, to futures that most people spend lifetimes only glimpsing through glass. The world has laid itself at their feet with the exhausted predictability of a ritual that no longer feels sacred, and they have accepted none of it. They have smiled, they have deflected. They have played the game with a mastery so complete that no one has ever been able to call them lonely without sounding ridiculous. Because how can someone that desired be lonely? But Virgo, loneliness is not the absence of suitors. Loneliness is the absence of recognition. And until you, recognition had never arrived. This person everyone desires is not merely popular. They are not simply attractive, successful, magnetic, or any of the other adjectives that get thrown around like confetti at a parade for the beloved. They are a phenomenon. They enter a room and the room reorganizes itself around their gravity. They speak and their words are quoted, dissected, memorized, and misquoted by people who want to wear fragments of them like borrowed jewelry. They move through their life with the kind of curated visibility that makes them simultaneously everywhere and nowhere, present in every conversation, absent from every genuine connection. They have been photographed, fantasized about, pursued across continents, written about in messages that were never sent, and poems that were never read. They have been the subject of so much projected desire that their actual humanity has become a rumor, even to themselves. They have started to wonder if they are real, or if they are just a mirror in which everyone sees their own unfulfilled longing reflected back in a shape that flatters them. And Virgo, here is the secret that no one in that roaring crowd has ever been able to decode. This person is romantically homeless. They have never been desired. They have only been consumed. Every offer that has been made to them has been a transaction disguised as tenderness. Every hand that reached for them has been a hand that wanted to take something away. Every declaration of love has been a strategic maneuver in a game where the prize was their social value, their aesthetic capital, their ability to elevate the status of whoever managed to claim them. They have been eaten alive by the collective appetite of a world that believes wanting is the same as loving, and so they built a fortress, not of walls, but of performance. They learned to give exactly enough to keep the crowd fed without ever offering the nutrient that would actually nourish anyone. They became the master of the almost, the nearly, the tantalizing proximity that keeps desire alive without ever allowing it to mature into intimacy. They have been, by every external measurement, the most romantically successful person in every room they enter. And by every internal measurement, They have been starving. Then you walked in. You did not walk in like the others walked in. You did not scan the room for the most valuable social asset and calibrate your posture accordingly. You did not feel your pulse quicken with the competitive adrenaline of, I want what everyone else wants. You did not perform your availability. You did not adjust your voice to the frequency you thought might penetrate their armor. You did not strategize. You simply entered. You found your place. You occupied it with the quiet, devastating specificity of someone who knows exactly how much space she requires and does not apologize for taking it. And in that entrance, in that unremarkable, nonchalant, almost indifferent arrival, the physics of the arena changed. They saw you, not with the eyes they use for the crowd. Those eyes are cameras. Those eyes are tools of assessment, constantly calculating angles and advantages. No, they saw you with the eyes that had been sleeping, the eyes that belonged to the human being underneath the monument, the eyes that had been sealed shut by years of being looked at but never seen. And what those eyes registered, Virgo, was not your beauty, though your beauty registered like a bell being struck in a vacuum. What registered was your gaze, the quality of your attention, the fact that when you looked at them, you were not looking at a trophy, you were not looking at a prize, you were not looking at a status symbol or a fantasy or a challenge or a conquest. You were looking at a person with all the boring, terrifying, electrifying flatness of personhood. You saw the tiredness behind the smile. You saw the calculation behind the charm. You saw the loneliness that was so well hidden it had become invisible even to its owner. And you did not flinch. You did not rush in to save them. You did not rush in to claim them. You simply saw them, and then you looked away. You returned to your conversation. You returned to your drink. You returned to your own orbit, which was self-sufficient, self-lit, and completely uninterested in orbiting theirs. That look away was the murder weapon, Virgo. That look away killed every other romantic possibility in their life. Because in that moment, for the first time in their memory, someone had desired them enough to not need them. Someone had seen them completely and chosen to remain whole. Someone had registered their value without attempting to extract it. And the shock of that recognition rewired something so fundamental in their nervous system that they have not been able to return to their previous factory settings since they tried at first. They told themselves it was nothing, that you were just another face in the crowd, that your indifference was a tactic, a reverse psychology gambit designed to make them chase you harder. They have encountered every strategy in the book. They know the games. They can spot manipulation from across a football field. And when they examined your behavior for the telltale signs of performance, they found nothing. No angle, no calculation, no bait, just you, just Virgo. Just a presence so grounded that it made the entire stadium feel like a hologram. They became obsessed, not in the way the crowd is obsessed. The crowd is obsessed with having them. This person is obsessed with having access to you. The difference is everything. They do not want to possess you. They want to be allowed into your vicinity. They want to earn the right to be seen by the only eyes that have ever seen them accurately. They want to deserve the attention of the only person whose attention does not feel like a debt being called due, and this obsession has manifested in ways that are currently destroying their carefully managed public persona. They are turning people down, Virgo. publicly, dramatically, people who, by every conventional metric, are perfect matches. People with the right names, the right faces, the right connections, the right timing. People who have been queued up for years, waiting for the moment when the icon would finally be ready to choose. And your person, because that is what they have become in the silence of their own heart, your person is looking at these offerings with a kind of nausea that they cannot hide anymore. The proposals that used to be flattering now feel like insults. The advances that used to be entertaining now feel like violations. The entire marketplace of romantic possibility, which they once navigated with the bored expertise of a connoisseur, has turned to ash in their mouth, because none of it is you, none of it smells like your soap, none of it sounds like your silence. None of it feels like the specific gravity of your presence, which does not pull at them desperately but holds them in place with the calm authority of a true north. They have tried to simulate what you offer. Do not doubt that. They have gone on dates with people who reminded them of your composure, your intelligence, your understated elegance. They have sought out the quiet ones, the grounded ones, the ones who seemed like they might have the capacity to see. And every single experiment has ended in disaster. Because the others were performing quietness, they were performing groundedness, they were performing the absence of need. But you, Virgo, were never performing. Your stillness is not a strategy. It is your nature. Your lack of desperation is not a tactic. It is the consequence of actually liking your own company. Your ability to see them without wanting to harvest them is not a trick. It is the organic expression of a soul that generates its own light and does not require theirs to see. And they know the difference now. They know it in their bones. They know it in the way their body refuses to respond to anyone else's touch. They know it in the way their mind replays your voice instead of the voices of the beautiful people who are currently throwing themselves at their feet. They know it in the way they have stopped posting, stopped performing, stopped participating in the public theater of their own desirability. The icon is going dark. The trophy is leaving its pedestal. And the crowd is panicking because they do not understand that the object of their desire has finally found a subject worth desiring back. You, Virgo, I need you to understand the magnitude of what is happening in their private world right now because you are not seeing it. You are not in the rooms where they are having the conversations that are reshaping their future. You are not hearing the way they speak your name to the people who have never heard them speak anyone's name with that particular frequency. You are not witnessing the way they have begun to rearrange their empire around the possibility of your entrance, but I am seeing it with the intimacy of a diary they believe is locked. They are making plans, not vague fantasies, concrete, terrifying, irrevocable plans. They are clearing their romantic debts. They are ending situations that were previously described as complicated. They are informing their family, their circle, their management, their world that the era of their availability is over. And when asked why, when pressed for an explanation, when confronted with the statistical impossibility of what they are claiming, they are saying your name. They are saying it with a simplicity that is dismantling every assumption the people around them have ever held about their heart. It is Virgo. It has always been Virgo. There is no one else. And the people who hear this are not believing it at first. They think it is a phase, a fixation, a rebellion against the expectations of their station. They try to argue. They bring up the suitors, the options, the strategic alliances, the biological clock, the social calendar. They bring up every reason why choosing you quiet, specific, unflashy, unbothered by the game you makes no sense by the metrics that have always governed this person's life. And your person listens. They nod. They do not argue. And then they say, with a finality that is chilling the blood of everyone in their inner circle, I do not desire anyone else romantically. I have tried. The machinery is broken. It only runs on one frequency now, and that frequency is hers. The unprecedented element of this reading, Virgo, is the public nature of what is coming. This is not a person who operates in private. Their life is public by design. Their choices are spectacles. Their relationships are transactions witnessed by thousands. And they are about to make a romantic declaration so public, so absolute, so deliberately destructive to every other option that has ever been laid before them that it will reframe the entire narrative of their life. They are going to claim you, not in a whisper, not in a text, not in a carefully negotiated courtship designed to protect their image. They are going to claim you in the full glare of the arena they have spent their life illuminating. They are going to turn to the crowd that has always desired them and say, I am not yours. I am hers. And the crowd is going to experience a collective heartbreak so loud it will register on seismographs. They are preparing the gesture now. It is not a ring, though there may be a ring. It is not a post, though there will be a post. It is a structural shift. They are removing themselves from the dating market in a way that cannot be undone. They are liquidating their romantic capital. They are burning the bridges to every possibility that is not you. And they are doing it not because you asked, not because you demanded proof, not because you performed the jealousy or the insecurity that would require such a sacrifice. They are doing it because the mere existence of other romantic possibilities has become an insult to what they feel for you. They cannot tolerate the noise anymore. They cannot tolerate the pretense. They cannot tolerate the performance of being available when every cell in their body knows that availability is a lie. They are yours. They have been yours since the moment you looked away. And now they are going to make it so legally, so publicly, so permanently that the world will have no choice but to acknowledge that the most desired person on the stage has chosen the one soul who never auditioned for the role. And Virgo, you need to be ready for the weight of that choice, because when the icon chooses you, the crowd does not disappear. The crowd becomes your problem. The envy that was once directed at them will now be directed at you. People will say you manipulated them, that you played a long game, that you pretended indifference to hook the biggest fish in the ocean. They will reduce your organic, effortless, authentic presence to a strategy because they cannot comprehend that anyone could win by simply refusing to play. They will dissect your appearance, your background, your social standing, your past, looking for the flaw that explains why you were chosen over them, and they will not find it. Because the flaw is not in you. The flaw is in their understanding of what desire actually is. They believe that desire is about being the best option. Your person knows now that desire is about being the only option. And you are the only option because you are the only one who ever saw the human beneath the icon. You are the only one who ever desired the person instead of the performance. You are going to receive a communication, Virgo. It will arrive in a way that bypasses your defenses, not because it is sneaky, but because it is inevitable. A letter that is longer than anything they have ever written. A conversation that happens in a space they have cleared of every distraction. A gesture that references something only you would remember, something you said in passing, something you did without thinking, something that proved to them that your attention was not a camera but a home. They are going to tell you that they have ended every other romantic thread. They are going to tell you that their desire for you is not the largest desire they have ever felt. It is the only desire they have ever felt that does not feel like hunger. It feels like nourishment. It feels like the body finally receiving the nutrient it did not know it was missing. It feels like water after years of drinking sand. And they are going to ask you with a vulnerability that is going to make them shake if you are willing to be chosen. Not because they need your validation, but because they need your consent. Because for the first time in their life, they understand that being desired by everyone means nothing if the one person they desire does not want them back. And Virgo, you do want them back. Not in the way the crowd wants them, not as a trophy, not as a status symbol, not as proof of your own value. You want them because you saw them too. You saw the exhaustion. You saw the loneliness. You saw the person behind the pedestal. And your heart, which is not a competitive sport, but a private garden, made room for them without announcing the addition to the press. You have been desiring them romantically with the same quiet, devastating specificity that characterizes everything you do. You have not performed it. You have not marketed it. You have simply felt it steadily, consistently, in the private chamber of your own being, where no one else has access. And that chamber is about to be opened, not to the public, but to them. When they arrive, when they make their claim, when they offer you the exclusive, total, irrevocable devotion of a heart that has been courted by thousands and has chosen only you, receive it with the same groundedness that made them choose you in the first place. Do not perform shock. Do not perform gratitude. Do not fall to your knees in disbelief that you are chosen. Stand in your own knowing. Stand in the truth that you were never competing. You were never in the arena. You were the arena. You were the ground beneath the fight. You were the standard against which every other contender was measured and found to be noise. And the champion has finally looked up from the blood sport and recognized that the only victory worth having is the one that leads to your door. Let them come. Let the crowd roar its last. Let the pedestal empty. Let the icon walk down from the monument and arrive at your threshold as a person, stripped of everything but the truth that they desire you, only you, romantically, completely, terminally. Let them in. Not because they are famous or beautiful or desired by the world. Let them in because they are the only person whose desire for you matches your own capacity for seeing. Because that is what you have been waiting for. Not a fan, not a follower, not a suitor performing devotion, but a witness, a partner, a soul who finally understands that the most valuable thing in the world is not being desired by everyone, it is being recognized by the one person whose recognition actually matters. The arena lights are dimming, the crowd is being asked to leave, the stage is being struck. And in the empty theater, where the only remaining sound is the echo of footsteps on wood, two people are finally meeting at eye level. No pedestal, no crowd, no performance. Just the truth, which has always been the only romance that ever lasted. Take your seat, Virgo. The show is over, and the only encore is the rest of your life, played in a key that only the two of you can hear.